All right, Nick, let's talk about the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams coming in this week, they're a strong team, a contender in the NFC for sure, but couple of roster additions brought up for the Rams this week. I think that there's some insights into that and what that could mean for this squad going forward. We're going to break all of that down in just 1 second here. But first, I'm Andrew, that's Nick, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, as I alluded to, the Rams have made some interesting roster additions, and I want to dive into those and kind of talk about what exactly that means for this Rams team and, their future aspirations. A deep playoff run, we all know, is on the table for the Rams right now, what that exactly means for them. But before we dive into all that, let's bring up the roster additions just so we can go over those. So this is from over on Rams Wire. It says, the Los Angeles Rams continue to shuffle their roster with it getting late in the season. On Wednesday, they added 2 more players to the 53-man roster, both of them being former Seattle Seahawks. The team announced it signed 10-year vet Nick Vannett to bolster their tight end room with Tyler Higbee out, and also claiming Darion Kendrick off waivers from the Seahawks. Kendrick started his career with the Rams in 2022 as a 6th-round pick, but was cut by the team this summer, find his way back into Los Angeles. So what does this mean? Does this mean that the Rams, they need to fill some depth on this team? This team has some holes in it, and they're really just trying to figure out the last couple of pieces and get this whole thing together? No, I don't think that's the case here. I think the Rams, they're good. They're dang good. Actually, they're way better than anybody probably expects them to be. We've all seen them play on the field, but they're probably even better than what you're thinking they could be. But they are just still chasing perfection. There's those little, 3rd-string guy, 4th-string guy, practice squad. They want to have perfection on this roster. They are chasing something special here. And these last tinkering additions, are these going to really make any kind of significant impact going forward? No. But if the opportunity presents themselves for these players to hit the field, McVay and co, Snead, they all want these guys to be the best options they have. So the Rams, they're tinkering with this roster, trying to get it absolutely perfect. But when I say how good are the Rams, let's look at my first graph here showing the current odds to win the Super Bowl. So how good are they on paper? How good does Vegas think they are? They're currently the number 1 team betting odds, plus 440 to win the Super Bowl here. They're over the defending champion, the Philadelphia Eagles, over strong teams like the Seahawks, the Colts, the Lions, and over, a team that you can never count out, the Kansas City Chiefs. This Rams team is looking really special here as far as Super Bowl odds, but that's just money lines. That's just, betting. That's not football stuff. What stats and football things, how can we quantify how good this Rams team is on the field? And that's where we bring in some statistics here. In EPA, and we all know expected points added both defensively and offensively. We have a chart here from True Media, someone we love working with. You need some great analytical software, go check out True Media. But we see here this chart, offensive EPA on the bottom axis, on the vertical axis is defensive EPA. And we see the Rams, they're off the charts on defensive EPA and really, really strong in offensive EPA. Here, they are a team that has, had an incredibly great season. I don't think anybody is even in the same stratosphere as this team right now as far as what they're doing. This is a team that when they come onto the field, they are unstoppable right now. They're on a streak. They're looking like the favorites to win the Super Bowl, not only through betting odds, but also what they're putting on paper. And it's not just good for this year either. If we look even further into this, this is a Rams team that's not good on paper for betting, not just good on this season amongst other teams. This is a top 10 all-time great team here when we look at their DVOA through the first 11 games of the season, going all the way back to 1978. You see the Rams there at number 10. This is a top 10 team all time as far as offensive and defensive DVOA combined, a 41.6%. This is a historically great Rams team we are seeing right now. Something special is going on here. We all know, you got teams like the 2007 Patriots on here. You got the 1995 Dallas Cowboys on here. You got just a lot of really fantastic teams here, and this Rams team is amongst them. I think something very special is going on in Los Angeles. I think we're definitely going to see one heck of a playoff push because of it. Curious what your thoughts are on all of this one, Nick. But before we get to you, Rams fans, Ramley, so to speak, in the comment section below, we're talking about this Rams team. We're talking about how historically great they have been. They're coming off a big time win here. But I'm curious what your thoughts are on the next game going up against the Carolina Panthers. Let us know your thoughts on the final score. Put your predictions in the comment section below. But nonetheless, Nick, what are your thoughts on everything here for the Rams?
So I absolutely love their approach. And we talk about the Rams all the time on this channel, and I'm sure a lot of people may get sick of it, but everything they do is just so smart, so creative, and just so forward thinking. Here, this is just brutally good roster management. You're in a championship window, obviously. You've got an elite team. You brought up their numbers. They're the favorite in my mind, not just to get to the Super Bowl out of the NFC, but to win the whole darn thing when it's said and done. And they're not going to rest on their laurels. They got a few injuries. They got a few question marks. They want to add some depth. They're going to go out and get it done. None of these deals are going to hurt their long-term chances or anything like that. But the reality is they've got an MVP quarterback. They've got the best odds to win the Super Bowl. They are stacked on both sides of the football. Great coaching staff, great head coach, right? Division is under their control. They got a win under the Seattle Seahawks. I think they're the best team in the NFC. The Eagles just lost, right? The Lions have 4 losses. The Packers have 3 losses and a tie. Everything looks great for the Rams to be the number 1 seed and to go into the postseason with a ton of momentum. A lot of teams in this situation, they sit here and they kick their feet up and say, hey, this is awesome, guys. Let's ride this out. We're having a great season. Not McVay, not Snead. They're like, okay, we got some injuries, add a veteran. Can't risk it. And you got to look at the positions too. That's what makes it very interesting to me. Because so far this season, it's been a big discourse is using tight ends and corners. Those personnel packages, those matchups are so critical. The Seattle Seahawks use a lot of 2-3 tight end personnel packages. The Rams have done that extensively as well. So the Rams lose a tight end due to injury. It's a key personnel grouping. What do good teams do in that situation? They go out and address the problem. How many teams do we see, and we see this every year, I feel like in the postseason or late in the regular season, a contending team has a guy go down to injury and they're like, well, shoot, that just stinks. I guess we got to get away with everything. We can't do anything that we used to do anymore because we lost our guy due to injury. We just got to figure it out. Or they go, next man up, we're going to start an undrafted rookie free agent. None of those strategies work. They always end in failure. What do the Rams do? They add a veteran. Same thing at the cornerback position, adding in Kendrick, right? Now, he's not as experienced as Van Nett is at the tight end position, but he's played a lot of football. He's been on the field a lot. He's played in some moments. The Rams are also very familiar with him as well. So these are 2 really good personnel depth moves, bringing in veterans, guys who have been there before, experienced at key positions, at areas where there's a lot of demand right now. This is really good roster management, an outstanding job by the Rams front office. But I also want to consider the context, because you brought up how good the Rams are. It's not that they just made these moves just because they're in a contention window. They were willing and able to make these moves, even though they're physically dominant with their current roster. You brought up some stats. I got an interesting one for you as well that I saw on X, courtesy of Aaron Schatz. You brought up DVOA as an interesting statistic. Schatz posted, since 1978, these are the only teams that be both first in offensive and defensive DVOA after week 10 or later. So again, these are the teams that they're the best on offense and the best on defense. The 1994 Dallas Cowboys, the 2001 Rams, the 2007 Patriots, the 2014 Broncos, and then these Rams, the 2025 Los Angeles Rams. That's it. The Rams made these moves with a stacked roster, offensively and defensively. Great talent all across the board. Great execution, great coaching. The rosters are fantastic. But they still add players. They still add veterans. They're still looking to get better. That's what the good teams do. That's what the good organizations do. Heck, I'm going to be honest. That's what the great organizations do. They seek perfection. They're always looking to improve, always looking to solve another problem. This is what I think McVay has become with the Rams, and I love it. I think after the defeat against the New England Patriots after the 2018 regular season and that Super Bowl where honestly the Rams and McVay got embarrassed by the Patriots, at least the way the Patriots defense shut down Sean McVay's vaunted offense at the time, ever since that moment, McVay and the Rams have become the #1 team at solving problems regardless of the cost. They'll do whatever it takes. They will go the extra mile. They won't trade for one veteran, they'll trade for 40. Right? They won't make one trade, they'll make 50. They'll spend every second of every single day to try and get better, to achieve perfection. We all know perfection's unattainable. It just isn't going to happen, right? Even a team can go undefeated. It doesn't mean you're a perfect team. But right now, the Rams, they're chasing as close to perfection as you can possibly ask. They were better than Philadelphia. They were better than San Francisco. If we're being honest, they should be undefeated. They're clearly, in every single game they played this season, the Rams have clearly been the best team on the field, both sides of the football. The numbers back that up. The eye test backs it up. Veterans, rookies, quarterback, defense, special teams, coach, everything you want, the Rams have been elite at. Home and away, they get it done. Quality opponent, mediocre opponent, they dominate. That's just what the Los Angeles Rams have been. And yet, despite that, they are still trying to get better. You talk about an A-plus organization, an A-plus coach, this is what the Rams have become. I understand the Eagles are the reigning champions and the Kansas City Chiefs are kind of the current dynasty in football right now. All of that is 100% fair. But I think this Los Angeles Rams team, this entire season, this offseason, really for the better part of 2 or 3 years, they've shown themselves to be, in my opinion, the best organization in the NFL.
Yeah, Nick, and I agree. They are looking absolutely fantastic. But just to kind of hit on just how good this team is and what they're able to do, we all know it's been fantastic. But just to refresh your memories here, Matthew Stafford, #1 in the NFL. When we're talking passing touchdowns, he's leading that statistic. If he's leading that statistic, it means one of the receivers is doing really well. Devontae Adams, a smart addition by them, leading the NFL with 12 receiving touchdowns. And this defense is fewest points allowed entering Week 13 in the NFL with 179 points allowed. This defense is absolutely elite, and I think this is a special Rams team. We've seen all of the additions they made. We've talked about it ad nauseum. Just go watch any other Rams video we've ever done. It's just they add great rookies to this team. They add great veterans. The offensive line is elite now. The tight end group is elite now. They have 2 of the best receivers in the NFL. Best quarterback in the NFL. They have fantastic running back. Their front 7 is elite. Their corners, everybody's looking really strong. I think this is by far and away the favorite to win the whole thing this year. And quite frankly, I would be surprised if they don't even at least make it to the Super Bowl. I think there's something special going on here in Los Angeles. And I think you're absolutely right. The big part of why that is because how good this front office has been.